Okay, this is my second video about locks, and this is going to be really short. My first video, which if you look right here, is about don't buy a cheap lock if you care about what you're locking up. If you're locking up valuable stuff, you can't go out and buy a master lock. Master locks are the biggest pieces of crap in the entire world, and I show you in that video how locks work, and you can push pins in and easily pick most locks, and most keys look like what they have is called a bitting, and that's where it just goes up and down and up and down, and of course everybody knows what that all keys look like. Most keys anyway. This is what this key looks like. This lock costs about $40 or $50, and it's not even the most expensive lock that these guys sell. You can spend up to $80, $150, $200, but I want to caution you on that because your lock will then become the strongest part of your security, and I guarantee you that there's another part of your security, whether it's the bolt that the lock is holding together or the wood around that or whatever, but if you make the lock unbreakable or too good, or you spend too much on it, they're just going to get it in another way. You know, if you ever watched the movie Gone in 60 Seconds, if these guys want your stuff, they're going to get in. What you're looking to do is keep knuckleheads, frankly, like me. When I show you in that video how I can pick a lock after 2 days of just messing around with lock picking, you don't want that lock. But what you want is a lock. They talk about that this company is called ABLOY. Are you able to see it? Does it show up? It's ABLOY. So this is the answer to the other video, because I had some people I showed it to, and I go, okay, well, you're telling me don't buy a master. What do I buy? Well, I'm going to settle on an ABLOY 330, if you can see that, made in Finland. That's what that part down there looks like. And they say that, well, I know for a fact that I couldn't pick this lock, because if you look at that, and I'll try to take some real close macro pictures of that, just to show you what that crazy key looks like. And when you stick it in, I think this is called a disc detainer lock. And you put the key in. Okay, and what it does is inside, if you could picture, oh, I don't know how to describe it. It's round, and what happens is that the key goes in, and as you can see, where some of these keyways are higher and lower, what you're doing is you're turning a rotational. Inside is, like, picture maybe a toothpick that has a bunch of discs on it. Or maybe if you had to picture a stick and putting paper plates on it. And then what you do is you cut down each paper plate into the different, like, snowflake patterns. And then that patterns will fit that when you stick this key in and turn it like that, it will turn the paper plates until this opens. Actually, it's kind of a pain to even get the doggone key in. And also, when you turn the key, notice this thing doesn't go pop. It doesn't pop out on its own. So this is a really hard lock to pick. People got to be really good. I guess that there's called disc detainer picking systems, but goofballs that are not very good at it can't pick this lock. They're going to have to get into your stuff another way. So anyway, if your stuff is worth locking up, it's probably worth paying 40 or 50 bucks to buy a good lock, and you may be shocked at that. But frankly, I'm disappointed that Master Lock dropped the ball in life. Why they are not the ABLOY baddest, greatest locks of the world is beyond me. Because frankly, those guys, Master selling locks for $5 or $10, people are fooling themselves, and you're fooling yourself if you think that lock is any more than, you might as well just take a shoestring and put it around your lock if you're going to use a master lock. Anybody, and more people online are getting into lock picking. It's called lock sport, like I am. And all those guys can pick this lock. So thinking you're going to spend $10 or $15 to lock your stuff up is Master Lock has lied to the United States. Where ABLOY is out of Finland, they're not lying to you. They're building locks that are seriously, but you know, if you want to lock your stuff up, you're going to pay $40 or $50 for it. So you got to actually get the doggone key in, and see, when I turn it all the way, it doesn't spring open, because, you know, on most locks, when you pick it, it's like bing, and it springs open. So anyway, that's the name. I'll take some pictures at the end and show you some detailed of this cuttings, just to show you that they're not only cut in, they're also cut at angles. So it's crazy. Okay, you guys, so that's a story from here. This actually says, oh, it does. It says super waterproof lock too. I guess that's what these holes are for, draining stuff out. If your stuff is worth locking up, it's worth buying a $50 lock. Master Lock has made everybody think, oh, you can buy a lock for $5 and it works. No, you cannot. Okay, buy a good lock. Okay, so that was some still close-up pictures. It's probably blurred here of how it works. And somebody might say, oh, I could copy your key and I could come steal your stuff. You know what? If you want to track me down and you want to find out where this lock is and what I've got locked up, you're going an awful lot of work to try to figure out how to steal my stuff. You're probably not going to let a stupid lock get in the way of it, because, facts be known, you can get one of these battery-operated grinders, handheld grinders, that will go through, even though they say that this is made of hardened steel, so it takes a little bit, but you can get these little, just a little blade about, just this big, and it's on the edge of a grinder, and it'll just go, but facts be known, if you couldn't get to the steel, then you're going to go around whatever the lock is hooked onto, or you're just going to blow it up. The bottom line is it's a balance between how much you pay for a lock and what else is securing your stuff. For instance, if you put a $200, $300 lock on your front door, they could go out and buy a handheld battery-operated Sawzall and just walk over next to the door or in the side of the house that's made of wood and just cut a hole in the side of your house and walk through that. So it's just all a balance about how you keep yourself safe and how much you want to pay for it, and a balance of complete security. So anyway, my point here is, don't buy a $5 or $10 lock. If you're going to lock stuff up, drop $50 on it. That's how much good locks cost. And I thought I'd just come back and make a video and talk about that. So that's that. I am not affiliated with this company at all. I'm actually stunned that I have to pay this much for a lock. But facts be known, I'm only stunned because I've been brainwashed by Master Lock thinking that locks cost $5 or $10. No, they don't. How much do you think a lock should cost? About $50. Or you can buy the big brother of this. It's like, 80 or 100, or there's even a better one. They even sell better locks. That there's a really killer one that they have that's like 150. And what happens to it is this got like a ball bearing on the key. So even if you're able to pick this one, like if you're really quality, then you've got to get the key, a specially built key that if the ball bearing that's on this doesn't push correctly onto the lock, you can't even get in there and turn the things to start with. And that's a $150 padlock. I'm happy with $50. Okay, you guys, see you later.